Welcome to day 86 of the New Way. I'll read Matthew 7, 1 and 2. Do not judge, or you too will be judged. For in the same way you judge others, you will be judged, and with the measure you use, it will be measured to you. Do not judge. That's clear. Or is it? This teaching is vitally important, yet most followers of Jesus that I encounter are confused by it. Most have no idea what it really means. I've heard parents tell their children not to judge. I've heard young adults tell their friends not to judge. I've heard kids tell other kids not to judge. But is our usage today what Jesus meant? Let's read Matthew 7:6. Do not give dogs what is sacred. Do not throw your pearls to pigs. If you do, they may trample them under their feet and turn and tear you to pieces. Now, if I gave your dog a Bible, he would chew it to pieces and shred it. If you gave a beautiful necklace to a pig, he would just trample it into the mud and never notice it, because if it's not food, it's not important. Now, do you think Jesus is talking about literal animals, or is he talking about people? I believe he's talking about people who don't feel that God is important. Question: how do you decide which people don't consider God important? Isn't Jesus saying that we need to judge? How can both these teachings be true? I believe the only way they can both be true is if we have wrongly defined the words "do not judge" as meaning we should not make critical thinking evaluations. My husband loves to sing barbershop music. That's men who sing four-part a cappella without instrumental accompaniment, just voices. It's a very beautiful form of music and quite difficult to do correctly. David sang with a large group called the Peninsulaires Chorus and with quartets called Daves and Confused, and another quartet called Influx while we lived in California. About every 6 months there would be a competition when all the choruses and quartets in the area would come together and compete. Now, it was nice to be ranked, especially if you were number one in the group. But the real purpose of the competition was to get the judges' comments. There would be a group of 6 or more judges who would listen to each group and evaluate their performance. They would say things like, "You missed the notes on measure 42," or "You were flat in this section. You need to have more expression," or "Don't move your hands so much." I want us to take this word evaluation and look at it. In the barbershop competitions, there are things we could say about the evaluation. Number one, it was objective. The judges were not being mean or harsh. They were just evaluating the performance based on their belief of what was correct or best. Number two, it was not demeaning. The judge's goal was to get the chorus or quartets to do better, not to discourage their participation. Number three, it was not condemning. By this I mean that just because a group sounded bad on this particular day didn't mean that they would always be ranked 15 out of 15. In fact, usually those groups that ranked low in one competition would noticeably raise their scores in the next competition. Why? Because they addressed their trouble spots. Okay, let's go back to the study. Jesus said in Matthew 7:1, don't judge. And in Matthew 7:6, judge. I believe the key is found in the Greek translation. I am not a Greek scholar, but when you look at the Greek words, they seem to be different. Both krino and anakrino are translated into the English word judge, but they seem to me to have different flavors. The definition given for krino is to condemn, punish, avenge, conclude, damn, decree, or sentence to. Jesus says not to do that. The definition given for anakrino is to scrutinize, to investigate, to interrogate, to determine, to discern, to judge, to search. Jesus says to do that. I believe Jesus is teaching that we shouldn't act like we are superior and can pass judgment on others, but we should use our minds to determine what is right and good and what is wrong and bad. Don't turn off your brain. Use your critical thinking to determine whether a person is walking with Jesus or not. Use your critical thinking to determine who you want to emulate or follow. Be wise, be careful, learn what is right and what is wrong, and be able to evaluate decisions and choices. Let's read Romans 14:4. Who are you to judge someone else's servant? To their own master, servants stand or fall, and they will stand, for the Lord is able to make them stand. Why should we not judge or krino? Because that's God's job, not ours. We are all God's servants. Now let's read John 7:24. Stop judging by mere appearances, but instead judge correctly. Why and how should we judge? Anakrino? Because Jesus tells us to, and we do it with the help of the Holy Spirit. I hope that this will help you to understand these instructions. Judge. Don't judge. In his service, Dale.